Craig, Herc, surprise, surprise, we're talking about Raul Jimenez and where he might end up. The latest link coming from Tuttosport in Italy saying that Juventus have identified Jimenez as a potential strike partner for Cristiano Ronaldo. Craig, I'll start with you here. We know the type of strike partner Cristiano Ronaldo likes. We know that Juventus have had trouble finding that partner. Is Raul Jimenez the right fit for this situation?
Well, they've tried to play at times Higuain and Ronaldo, but in essence, Maurizio Sarri, the coach of Juve, former coach of Chelsea and Napoli, amongst others, has favoured a system that essentially has won through the middle. And bearing in mind his age, Cristiano Ronaldo is not going to play wide much, if at all, in the upcoming couple of years, because he might drift out there, but he's going to effectively start as a number 9 through the middle with maybe a Paulo Dybala in behind him. So that kind of negates somebody else coming in and playing from the start ahead of, one of the world's greatest players. So that's a difficult sell for me at the moment, because if it was Juve, would I be looking at somebody like him? Is he a better option than Higuain? Then arguably he is, because he's more mobile and he's younger and he's fitter. But just coming in and playing as a strike partner is, I don't think, something Sarri will see if indeed Maurizio Sarri is long-term at Juventus, and that's a big debate. But I don't think we see him playing with two strikers through the middle over the course of a season. And that would be a huge problem for Raul Jimenez, because there's one Cristiano Ronaldo is going to occupy that position.
Herc, do you think they could be on the field at the same time?
I do, because Craig mentioned it, how mobile Raul Jimenez is. I don't see Raul Jimenez as that typical number 9. Oftentimes throughout his career, whether it's club or national team, we see him actually drift out wide, and he feels very comfortable out wide or in that supporting role. And I think anytime you play with Cristiano Ronaldo, if you're a player on the field, you're going to be in a supporting role to Cristiano Ronaldo. You're never going to be the guy, the man. That's going to be Cristiano Ronaldo. So you have to be in that supporting role. I think he can play that way. Higuain is obviously on his way out. In this post-pandemic transfer, this money-strapped world that we're going to be in when it comes to transfers, he's a very big value for your buck. And everything that we've been reading and hearing, because this has some legs, is there will be a player transfer involved in this as well. So they can actually get him on the cheap with a player. I think this is great if it happens, because it gives him that big club that he's looking for, that platform, the shine of Cristiano Ronaldo, and he doesn't have to have the responsibility of being the man. He only has to have the responsibility of supporting the man.
Craig, the example of, I guess, like the best support for Ronaldo is Karim Benzema. Could Jimenez not do that work?
Oh, look, I'm not saying they couldn't come in and play whatever system they were going to play, and they could work off each other. I mean, both very physical, but Jimenez could be a bit of a battering ram for Ronaldo and others. But at the end of the day, and Herculez touched on it there's a lot of clubs, and I include Juve, I think Barcelona or others, who are really looking to exchange players to really negate the financial impact of a big money cash alone transfer. The problem here is most of the guys at Juve are relatively big names, if not big names. And if you're trying to offload them, you're trying to get them to go to Wolves. Now, as good a club as Wolves are, they're not exactly a big draw for some of these big players coming out of Serie A. So that's the issue there in terms of, offering maybe 2 or 3 players for somebody like Raul Jimenez, is getting the players to go in agreement to a club like Wolves. That's the difficult part of this, because money's going to be tight, budgets are going to be smaller, and the cash and signings are going to have to be astute.
What about the idea, and both of you have touched on this, of being the guy versus being the guy's assistant? At pretty much every other club he's been linked to, he's going to be the number 1 option up top, or replacing the number 1 option up top. Herc, is it better for him at this time in his career? I guess we're saying it's the peak, to take a secondary role?
Well, listen, there are a lot of very good players that go to any team Cristiano Ronaldo's on are going to take a secondary role. That's just what it is. If you play with Leo Messi, you're taking a secondary role. Neymar found that out. So it doesn't really matter. If you got a chance to go to a big club and play with a big player, you go. If it's a secondary role, you adjust. You mentioned it. Benzema had to adjust. He's going to have to adjust. Raul Jimenez is a very good player. But let's keep in mind that he's had about a season and a half, a year and a half of actually being the guy, the man. So maybe this secondary role or in a supporting cast role on a big team can suit him.
He's 29 years old. If he's ever going to be the guy at a big club, though, we would suggest it would be now. Craig, is it better to be the guy or the guy's assistant?
No, I think it's better to go and pit your wits against the best and play with a better playing squad and play with a last chance saloon, big move to a big club, huge club, and put yourself out there and try and better yourself. Because, 12 months down the line, that chance is almost definitely gone for Raul Jimenez. It's now for him to try and make that move. Look at Antoine Griezmann. Antoine Griezmann goes to Barcelona. Oh, I'm not happy playing on the left. Where the hell did you think you were going to play? Got Luis Suarez and Lionel Messi. You were always going to play in a wider position. You got to make these decisions. You got to go in. You got to back yourself. And you got to take the opportunity of moving to a big club. It's not very often that you put yourself in the limelight. And there's stories in the Italian paper about Juventus been after you. There's been stories about Barcelona been after him. There's been stories about Manchester United been after him. Doesn't come along very often. So to grasp this opportunity, if Wolves and the player can agree with it, and try and make that move. And listen, if it doesn't work out, you can always take a step back and become the man again somewhere else.
Herc, of all the teams we've seen him linked to, would Juventus be your top priority?
No, wouldn't. For his game, for his skill set, and I go back to the rumor that Craig Burley started about him in Barcelona. I would love to see him in a Barcelona-type team because I think he's technical enough. I think he's got the game IQ. I think in the final third, he's very good. He's very unselfish. He reminds me a lot of Luis Suarez, that skill set. I think he's of that mold, a team that plays a little bit more, I guess that you would say a team game. When you play with Cristiano Ronaldo, you're playing for Cristiano Ronaldo.
There we have it. The Mexican forward linked to half of Europe, the latest Juventus of Turin.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.